So welcome to the opposing views segment for today. As you know, we are looking at fee for service and whether it's a good thing or not a good thing, or it may be somewhere in between. But the idea is that by having these discussions that we will, I guess, explore this a little bit further, and you can get some value out of it and make some decisions what you want to do in your business. Our first guest for today is Adrian Smith from Home Loan Hub. And I'm just going to quickly hand over to him and just ask him to quickly introduce himself and tell us a little bit about who he is and what his business does out in, it's Narellan, isn't it?
Narellan, yeah. Well, you've already said it, Adrian Smith from Home Loan Hub at Narellan. We commenced business just under 2 years ago, right at the start of COVID, which was a bit of fun. But yeah, it's been a good start. I've had 5 years of broking before we opened the office here, myself and Pete, my business partner. We've got 3 brokers that operate out of here, plus 2 admin staff. We also have our own coffee shop, just for something different. It's business is good.
Yeah, look, it's a great spot. So you're in retail shop front on the main road, which has great exposure for you as well. And I've been to the coffee shop. It does have good coffee. So smart innovation. Just to tease it out a little bit, because I think in the promo I mentioned that you're not only a mortgage broker but an entrepreneur. You're one of the few people in our industry who's, I guess, has come into the industry as a business owner first and then built a brokerage, rather than someone who might have been just really good at finance and someone said, hey, you should do this for yourself, and then build a business. Just what's your business background? I understand you've worked for a few other different, I guess, business models in the past or industries.
Yeah, well, my background is retail predominantly. I owned Blockbuster stores for a number of years, from '99 through to 2017. So best part of 20 years.
Last.
Yes, I was one of the last. I was the very last store in Sydney. Yeah, so when that was, in '99 when I first bought my first store, I was in my early 30s. I was making lots of money, and I thought I was the smartest guy in the world. But I soon realised that I wasn't. It became a very difficult business after a while. So '99 to 2005, it was great, and after that it started to wane and it got a bit tougher, but we persevered, and people that probably shouldn't have been in business in the first place went broke really quickly as soon as there was problems. And then, but while people are leaving the industry, they're throwing money behind them, so I was just picking it up. So we managed to survive a long time. We also had a cold rock ice cream franchise inside one of our stores, which did help sustain us for a little bit longer. But probably around about 2014, I was starting to look at other businesses, and I was looking at all sorts of businesses. I looked at anything from hairdressers to transporting dead bodies. And I know that sounds like a strange thing, but someone's got to do it, right? My criteria was sort of a four-prong approach, which was, one, is it a good idea? Is it something that people want? If I'm looking at a business, is it something that people want? Is it something that we're going to use? The second thing was, is it going to bring joy to people? Are they going to want to deal with us? Is it going to benefit people's lives or whatever? So, you could be a...
Yeah, so it's interesting because I guess you've had a career of having to balance up, I guess, your personal values and your passion for looking after customers, which I know firsthand it's something that you're very passionate about, and bringing joy to people. But on the other hand, also needing to make money. And you've kind of already hinted at it, but it kind of leads us into the obvious question that we wanted to ask today is what's your stance, or how do you feel about charging a fee to customers for the service you provide?
We've discussed it. Pete and myself, we've certainly explored the idea, but ultimately we've come to the decision we don't want to charge a fee for service. We think the model works really well the way it is. As I said, there's no obstacle for people to use this. And I've heard all the arguments for a fee for service, and I'm not saying people are wrong. I'm just saying it's wrong for me at the end of the day. The idea of, I suppose, sorting the wheat from the chaff, I get it. But I don't know, I think you then leave all the people that may need help. I mean, there's people that come to us, there's some people that come to us that are just a nuisance. They waste your time, they don't send you the documents when you need them, and then they want you to run 15 scenarios because they just found a house that they like, even though they haven't sent any information for the last 3 months. We've all had those customers. But it's really a matter of in your processes, learning to say no to people when they do that sort of stuff, and just you don't have to waste a lot of time with people just because you're not charging a fee for service. You can just say to them, no, sorry, I've sent you requirements. You get your information back to me, and then I'll look at it. Before that, I'm not going to look at it and just push back on people that way. But there's a lot of people out there that we've helped that have had really, really bad financial problems, that we've helped them dig themselves out of the hole. And people that on face value would not be what you call a prime customer. If you've got your checklist that says this customer's good and this customer's bad, there's customers we've dealt with that certainly would be in the bad side of that equation. There's one person we helped fairly recently who he came to us and a lot of stuff just wasn't adding up, and we had this lump sum of money and we didn't know where it was coming from, and it was starting to look a bit bodgy, and we had to sort of say to him, mate, we just need to understand where this money's coming from. And it turned out that he'd had a terrible childhood. His parents had died when he was young. He'd been sent to foster care. He'd been abused in foster care. He'd finally got a ton of money from as compensation, and he'd buying his first late 50s. And he cried when he got the loan. So you want to help those people, I mean, the whole office went up in a cheer when that loan got approved. So to weed those people out, it just seems like a wasted opportunity.
It's interesting because I think your decision to not introduce fee for service, I think, has a lot to do with why you're in business, and the aspect of wanting to bring joy to customers and genuinely give back to, I guess, the community as such. And I think it's important that you build a customer journey or customer structure that actually the outcome of that journey or structure is the goal that you have for your business. And sometimes goals are not just financial goals as well. Which is I think it's a great message, as in what I'm hearing is fee for service is not a reflection of the people we want to look after, the way we want to look after them, and the outcomes that we want for people. Which is, and to your point, it's not saying that fee for service is wrong. It's just wrong for you in the way that you want to do business.
It is a hurdle for some people. There's going to be, particularly if someone's got financial problems and they need help, then that's going to be an obstacle for them. If they've got to pay up $500, $1,500, $500,000, $1,500, whatever the fee is, then they may not be able to do that, and then they may not be able to get themselves out of trouble. And I just think the model we have now works so well that the bank is the one that's paying for it. They're getting the benefit, and they're the ones that are paying for it. And I think that model really works fantastically. And I don't. And while yes, we get the occasional clawback, and yes, we get the occasional person that we help, and we know that they're going to put money in offset straight away, and we're going to earn very little, and that's fine. Look, obviously, if all your loans are like that, you have to rethink what you're doing. But if that's a very small percentage, you can still be profitable, and the people are unbelievably grateful for the assistance that you've given them, and therefore referring more clients, etc. I just think it's the way to go.
It's interesting. You've triggered something for me, and in my background, working with a lot of not-for-profits and charities, there used to be a bit of a mantra that we used to throw around where if you look after the people no one wants, you'll get the people that everyone wants. And there's always a lot of talented rich people out there, people with excess money, who are actually looking for a cause or looking for someone to back. And they do make decisions based on their values and not just the bottom dollar. And when they see or they're exposed to an environment or a culture which they like and they can have an appreciation of, or they share those common values, they're more likely to invest in those businesses or those charities or engage in those services. You can't just, outcomes just can't be measured by, I only want to look after the best possible client. Sometimes the best possible client comes to you because you're willing to do the work in looking after all the clients that no one else wants, or engaging in the community, giving back to your community, and really promoting those strong values.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm a rabid capitalist. I want to make money.
Yeah.
It's not I don't want to make money. I mean, obviously,
yes.
There is making money has to be one of the metrics within your business. Absolutely, it's not.
Sure.
It is a measure of success. It's just not the only measure of success.
Yeah, well said. Very well said. Well, what advice would you give to brokers out there, I guess, right now, who may be considering whether to charge fees or not? What would you tell them?
Look, I think we speak to new brokers all the time that maybe want to work with us, and what we say to them up front is, what sort of broker you want to be,
Right.
And that's really what it comes down to. And it's not. There's no absolute right and absolute wrong. There's nothing wrong with making money. There's nothing wrong with whacking on a suit every day and jumping in your Maserati and driving to work. If that's what you want to be, well, more power to you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's not the only way to be. And there's good money to be made in all facets of this business.
Do you have any advice or any tips, ideas for other brokers around, just in general, how they could make more money out of their broking business?
Don't focus on making so much money. I mean, if you're only focused and your only metric is making money, then you're probably doomed from the start, to be honest with you.
Right.
Business is a lot more than just making money. So, I mean, if that's where your focus is, I mean, I just think that you may be on a bit of a high to start with. Keep an eye on your expenses. That's a big one. Saving money is the same as making money. I'm a bit of a tight ass, quite frankly. So I've always been, always sort of had that mantra of a dollar saved is as good as a dollar earned. And I think just obviously we need to streamline our processes as much as possible. You need to spend if you can do a loan as fast and as efficiently as possible, then obviously that is where we make our money. That's the transaction where we make our money. So if you can do that as fast and as efficiently as possible, then obviously you're going to be able to do more and write more loans. Admin staff is fantastic for that. All the various softwares that are around, bankstatements.com, all this sort of stuff, collecting data, all the new technology, just adopt it all. Yeah, you're going to pay $2,000 a month in subscription fees for every bit of software that you're involved in, but all of it comes back to you eventually.
Oh, brilliant. Well, look, really appreciate your time today and your generosity in sharing to the group. Obviously, after this discussion, there may be some questions or people want to, I guess, follow up and get in contact with you. You are active in the online broker think tank closed Facebook group, so you are in there. Yep. I'm sure people can, I guess, put some questions there as well. But are you comfortable with people reaching out to you if they want a second opinion on something, or even have some sort of interaction with the Home Loan Hub? Clearly, you're a growing business. Are you comfortable with them reaching out to you?
Absolutely, yeah, sure. As I always say, everyone's entitled to my opinion.
Oh, very good. But thank you, Adrian. Much appreciated. And that kind of concludes, I guess, the first part of the segment. Next up, we will be having Brendan Lowbridge from Money Links up in Newcastle, who will be giving the other side of the argument around why fee-for-service is good in this opposing view segment. Thank you very much.
Thanks.